2025 official live stream event. I'm so happy to have you here watching this on the replay. Nobody's watching this on the live quite yet. So we're going to wait. Oh, we got somebody in here that just showed up. We're going to wait a few minutes for people to hop on. I'm going to let everybody know who is joining on the replay that I will be welcoming people in the very beginning before we get into the meat of this live stream. So I will timestamp below when it is that we start talking about the Lionsgate energies in this video today. We're going to be debunking some of the false claims about the Lionsgate portal, talking about what it actually is and how we can work with these incredibly powerful energies and why exactly it is that these energies are so powerful this year. The title of this live stream will suggest to people why that is, although you may not understand what the activation of the 13th key means. So we're going to get into that as we continue with this live stream. In order to streamline this and make this more pleasant for people who are watching on the replay, I am going to save my periods of time where I'm answering questions and addressing everyone in the live stream for certain points in the talk. So that way, if you are watching this on the replay, you're not just constantly hearing me going back and forth with people in the live stream as well. This is the way that I am doing my best to accommodate everybody and make this a pleasant viewing experience for all, as my free time is a bit limited these days. And the bulk of my videos need to be done via live stream just due to my own schedule and the way that life is currently shaking out at the moment. So I appreciate everyone's cooperation, particularly those who have been with me for a long time. I used to put out a lot of recorded videos as well, or a lot more recorded videos. So I love you all so much. Thank you for bearing with me as I go through this sort of period of flux here and basically just do the best I can, as we are all doing at every point in time. So before we get started talking about the Lionsgate and what it is, and like I said, for those watching the replay, I will timestamp this for you. So right now, if you are watching this on the replay, go ahead and check in the description box for that timestamp if you want to click right to where we get into the meat of the Lionsgate portal. I'm going to take a minute though and say hello to people who are in the chat right now. I don't know what you're talking about, Larry, but welcome. Hi, Annika. Hi, Dee. No. You guys, please talk with each other in the chat. I'm not saying to not do that at all. What I'm saying is that when I'm talking about the energies of what's going on, I'm not going to be constantly stopping and replying to comments in the chat. I'm going to do it at different portions during the live stream. I know a lot of people who do live streams that don't comment at all. Like they literally just do it like a video where people are able to talk, and then at the end they take questions and stuff. So it's not abnormal. It's not unheard of. And we've essentially been doing it this way the past few live streams anyway, where there's a point where we talk and then there's a point where I talk. Because a lot of the people that watch these on the replay, they don't want to hear these conversations that we're having right now. You know what I mean? It's very distracting. And as I can only do one video a week right now for the most part, and it is a live stream, I'm just trying to accommodate people so that everyone can enjoy and get the information. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We still have a great time. There's still a lot of opportunity for us all to connect. And also, as we know, like, there's a lot of distraction that happens in the chat too. So like, it's also to minimize that as we're channeling and moving through, because this is some really powerful energy that we're working with today. And thank you. I appreciate that, Tammy. Welcome. Yeah. So how's everybody feeling? This energy has been intense. We've been purging a lot with this particular Lionsgate. I know that I have. I know that the range of the emotions that I've gone through over the past week has been absolutely insane. I've been so tired. I had to sleep for an entire day yesterday. That's why we didn't do the live stream yesterday. I was so wiped out, and it was the only opportunity I'd had this week to actually get some rest. So I took advantage, and I was like, you know what? Everything's going to have to wait. Like, I need to do that. I need to do that self-care. And yeah, Dee, I didn't have any lion wear, but I have lots of cheetah, leopard, and a little bit of tiger. So I went with some of the cheetah for the live stream today. But yeah, so it was that self-care that's going to be really important for everybody right now. So hydrate really well. The 8/8 portal always has to do with DNA repair, DNA activation. And it's not just the DNA that's activating here, all right? The ley lines of the earth, which are connected to the strands of our DNA, connected to the chakras of the planet and ourselves, uh, those are activating, all right? So as this is happening, you've seen a lot of stuff in the comments about the bifurcation as well, so we're going to get into that. We've been in the process of bifurcation since 2012. All right, so it's they're a little late to the party with all the things that I've been seeing from people in the spiritual community saying the bifurcation is happening. It's been ongoing. We're going to talk about that when we talk about the keys. You don't really need to view the title of the live stream. I'll just tell you the title of the live stream for who asked was, I'm trying to remember, something about the truth about the Lion's Gate, the activation of the 13th key. So I think now is a perfect time to begin getting into that. And hello, Shane. Hello, everybody. I didn't get to say hello to. So we're going to just jump right in. All right. So the Lion's Gate portal is it's the most energetically powerful portal of every year. Now, the portal that goes with the number of the year tends to give the Lion's Gate a run for its money in a certain sense. This year, that's going to be the 999 portal, which is why we're doing the retreat in Sedona for 999, September 9th, because you get the triple numbers there. So numerologically speaking, that's a big, big energy. Last year was a massive Lion's Gate because it was the 888 portal, being that it was an 8-year. Now, as we've been going through the videos over the last few years, we've been talking about this energy of the 13 sacred keys, which are, you could call them the earth's chakras. You could call them these nexus points of energy, these power points within the earth. Each of these 13th keys is connected to a chakra. And because we are connected to the earth, each of these earth's chakras also connects to a chakra within our own being. So that chakra within us is activated as this key is activated. The ley lines of the earth are activated. And since 2012, we've been going through this process here where the earth's chakra, these major keys or ley lines, which have lain dormant for quite some time, think about them almost as volcanoes, right? Dormant volcanoes. So there's been an eruption, an activation. You can think about it like a seal popping, essentially, where these chakras were sealed. And so those seals are breaking each and every Lion's Gate portal. So why with the Lion's Gate portal, right? Why is it that this is happening during that particular time? The reason for this is because of the power of the Lion's Gate. And it does not necessarily come from what people think it comes from. There's a lot of misinformation about the Lion's Gate portal. So you'll hear a lot of people say in spiritual circles, oh, the Lion's Gate is when the Orion's belt lines up with the star Sirius and the Earth or the Sun and the Pyramid of Giza. This is not factual. Astrologically speaking, the constellation of Orion, those are fixed stars. Sirius is a fixed star. So Sirius is always in the same position relative to Orion. If you look at Orion, I believe it's the belt, and then you go down diagonally, Sirius is found a little bit down here. All right. So Sirius and Orion are always in the same position relative to each other. And there was a time, I do believe, and this is speculated by archaeologists, some people, the archaeologists, where they've dated the pyramids, it doesn't seem as though this is possible. Although I don't know how many of you have seen, I think it was Graham Hancock, when he does this series where he debunks these claims of archaeologists about the date of certain structures and things like that, and proves that we had not only highly intelligent, but highly advanced civilizations present on this earth far before when archaeologists claim that we had that present. And of course, we all know that this is true, right? We've had many very, very advanced civilizations, Atlantis being the one that is the most well-known, right? And the most connected to what we're going through right now, because that was an ascension gateway during Atlantis as well. And I don't want to get too off track, so I'm going to try to stay focused with what we're talking about and not go off into Atlantis and the ascension gateways just yet. But somebody remind me that I said that so I can cycle back to that. But essentially, like, I do believe, even though archaeologists don't support this fully, there are some theories about it, that originally the pyramids were built, the three main pyramids, including the Great Pyramid of Giza, were built to align with the stars of Orion's belt. All right, and there is evidence to suggest that within I think it's the King's Chamber within the Great Pyramid, that there's an alignment from Sirius and another star here coming in when you're standing in that chamber at a certain time of year. So it was definitely built to align with the stars in a certain sense. I believe that before the precession of the equinox, and what I mean by that is that the stars shift very slightly, very gradually over time, has changed that alignment. But originally, I do believe that that was an alignment, all right? And that did happen around this time of year, which was sacred to the Egyptians because it was the flooding of the Nile. It was the rising of the star Sirius over the horizon where it's visible in the nighttime sky and then visible as we move through in the wee hours of the morning. All right, so there's a very strong connection to Sirius here. However, Sirius and the sun do not align during the 8-8 portal. Sirius and the sun, and we've talked about this on here quite a bit, they align during the 7-7 portal, actually. They align, it was the 6th of July, and it has been for the last few years, but during that first week of July, that's when the sun hits 14 degrees of Cancer, where the sun Sirius is located. So the biggest aspect of what people claim is the Lion's Gate portal is actually not factual. That's not going on right now. That already happened. That's why I say that I consider that sort of an opening for the Lion's Gate energies. We call it the Sirian gateway, as we have the sun coming into conjunction with the star Sirius. So as we continue to move through the month, we have Sirius still impacting the energies, particularly this Lion's Gate, because we actually have Jupiter in a loose conjunction with Sirius right now. And I literally smacked myself upside the head when I realized that when we were talking about Mercury retrograde Mercury stationing direct on the 11th, and then we're talking about Jupiter on the 14th coming into conjunction with Sirius. Somehow, some way, when I was looking at the chart, I totally missed the fact that Venus is also conjunct Sirius. So when I saw that, I was just like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. But yeah, so this is a double conjunction. We have Venus and Jupiter conjunct Sirius after the 8-8 portal. So I'm going to give you guys sort of the takeaway of energy. And we can already feel Jupiter and Venus, but especially Jupiter, because Jupiter, I think, is pretty much at 13 degrees of Cancer right now. Let me take a look at my chart here to give a confirmation for this. Yeah, at least tomorrow. I'm on the chart for tomorrow right now. It's at 13. So it's at 13 degrees today, I believe, as well. And Sirius is 14 degrees. So within a degree, Sirius is a pretty big, I mean, it's considered our spiritual sun. This is a very powerful fixed star, one of the most powerful, arguably. So we definitely give it a degree orb. So Jupiter's already there expanding this energy and really bringing that into an even greater focus, which is just supercharging the energy of this Lion's Gate portal. And when Venus meets, right now Venus is, let me take a little look here again, at 10 degrees of Cancer. So already in a loose conjunction, all right? So this energy is building. Venus and Jupiter are both supporting Sirius, or we could say receiving this high voltage energy from Sirius, which is basically like a giant battery, just really souping up the energies of this Lion's Gate portal. Now, we did confirm that astrologically speaking, the Orion's belt does not physically align perfectly with the pyramids, with the three major pyramids, right? The Great Pyramids within Giza anymore. However, there is still an energetic connection here. And it's not just that one connection. So there are 88 major recognized constellations within the night sky. 88, right? During the Lion's Gate portal, all of these constellations are activated. And each of these constellations, the major stars within them, actually correlate to pyramids, either natural ones or ones that were built or constructed. All right, take it or leave it if it resonates with you, okay? So as the precession of the equinox has occurred, right? As these fixed stars have slightly changed location over the centuries, over the eons, these may not be exact physically. However, the energetic alignment, the energetic activation is still there. So what happens is essentially you can look at all of these 88 major constellations as these sort of nexus points, these portals, these stargates. So all of these stargates activate and come online. They connect with their counterparts of these natural and these constructed pyramids. And they connect, they ground into Mother Earth, and they activate her ley lines. And thus, these 13 keys. Since 2012, each of the seals over these keys, one by one, has been breaking. All right. And we have, once again, it's like the earth is coming back to life. So with this final stargate, this final ley line, this final chakra of the earth opening, the 13th key, this is why you see a lot of people in the spiritual community saying that this is the bifurcation, that the earth is bifurcating. Those who followed this channel for a while, like we said, we've been talking about this ever since I came on here in 2020, right? The bifurcation, how it happens in stages. The Lion's Gate is a powerful bifurcation. This is also where, like we said, the ley lines are activated. The earth's chakras are coming online. The 13th keys are activating. The 1221 gateway is another portal of this energy, 1212 to 1221. That's a major bifurcation date as well. It's the energies of the 12, right? 1213, right? 1213 DNA strands, 1213 dimensions. 1213 is very important. And I say 1213 because it's 12, but the entirety becomes the 13, right? So the 13th is all, if that makes any sense. That's going to resonate for who it resonates for. If it doesn't make sense to you, then it's not meant for you at this time to understand. All right. Think about all 12 dimensions. The entirety that engulfs all 12 of them is the 13th. All right. 13th being that beautiful divine number of creation. So I'm going to read for you guys about the 13th key, but just know because this is the 13th ley line, the 13th key, the final key that is activating. Okay. This means that when we're talking about that bifurcation, and for those who don't understand what I mean when I say the bifurcation, imagine like a vesica piscis, right? There's two earths and they intersect in the middle. And so you can see this almost like a vagina, right? And it's like contracting. The bifurcations are like, if we think of Gaia as giving birth to the new earth, right? To this new version of her, you can think of the bifurcations as like the contractions, like she's going into labor. And so there's a greater and greater split as these bifurcations are occurring. And this was a major one. We could almost say that this is the full birthing of that new earth for those who are able to be in that frequency, right? Because it's all about frequency. And I do think that there is, because this is, and the 13th key is the heart chakra. It's the gateway of universal love. Cosmic and earth gateway, the sacred law of love, is what the 13th key is connected to. So you connect through your heart, right? We always say on here, we've been saying since 2020, the heart is the portal to the 5th dimension. And you're going to see that echoed in Rising Phoenix Aurora's writing when I read to you about the 13th key here. So we connect through the heart space. We connect through love. If we allow ourselves to dissolve, to surrender into that beautiful, spontaneous activation, heart activation that is occurring, if we allow ourselves to become, it's like, oh, Spirit's wanting to give me like an analogy to share with people right now. It's like dissolving into love. When you dissolve so much into the frequency of love that you surrender your being, your individual ego identity to it, when you allow that love to vibrate through every cell of your being, when you allow yourself to truly be that love, then that is when that key activates within you as well. That's how you have access to this frequency of energy. So it's really, really beautiful. And like I said, a lot of us have been purging like motherfuckers, to be like quite frank, right? During this week, because we're purging all of that which is not love within us. We're purging all of those, and not all, there's going to be more, right? There's always more, but we're purging a lot of that negativity, that lower frequency energy. And a lot of people are doing what I've been doing as well. And I was guided to share this. You've been purging for the collective as well. So just know that some of this is coming up from your cellular memory, is coming up from your lineage, it's coming up from your DNA itself. All right, because your DNA holds all of this. Your DNA is the most powerful technology that exists. Okay, there's so much technology being created in this world today, right? And part of this bifurcation, part of this splitting is between the organic and the inorganic. So when we're looking at like which path we're being led down, we want to really look at, is this an organic path or an artificial path? All right, there's a lot of artificial technology, the AI technology, all this stuff that's coming up right now that is inorganic in nature. And a lot of people are being sort of seduced down that pathway in one sense or another. So you really want to be aware of all of this. Okay, you really want to be aware of what's happening here. And you really want to understand that they can present to you all the technologies in the world. But the greatest technology, as we just said, is your own DNA. Your DNA is evolving if you allow it to. All right. For me personally, I know it's been almost impossible for me to eat over the last few days. My body has made it very difficult for me to eat food because my body's wanted me to be fasting. Because one of the greatest ways that we pollute our bodies and we prevent the full activation of our DNA is through what we're putting into our bodies, right? They bombard us with chemicals in our food, in our air, in our water, in the things they want to, put into our bodies. So many different ways that they try to lower our vibration and pound these in our artificial chemicals into us, right? These dead cells, this dead food, and my body has not wanted it. So I don't know who else might have been experiencing that this week, that need to fast, that desire to fast, or almost like your body is like refusing to allow you to consume certain things right now. It's because of the DNA activations that are occurring. As we mentioned earlier, in this broadcast, whatever you want to call it, the 8-8, think about the double helix, the DNA strand. We actually have 12 strands to our DNA, 12, 13 strands. All right. And that's what's activating. That's what like all of that junk within our DNA is not junk at all. All right. We're just now beginning the process of reclaiming all of that. Okay. So, but we'll say the double helix, right? You see the way the 8 moves like this, just like the DNA strands. So when we're looking at the 8-8, we're looking at the activation of those strands of DNA. And as we said, they connect to the planet, what's happening with the planet, and her ley lines are activating her chakras. Her 12, 13 chakras are activating. So we had all 12, and now this is number 13, right? The entirety. All right, so I'm going to read to you guys about the 13th chakra here. The galactic guardian for the 13th key or chakra is Divine Mother Sophia, Divine Mother of Creation. This is the heart chakra, the cosmic and earth gateway, and the sacred law represented here is the sacred law of love. All right, and what part did I want to read here? I'll read the whole thing. The 13th key is where we find the Divine Mother Sophia and her infinite love that envelops us and is the very fabric that gives creation to all organic life forms in the universe. The 13th key is where we find our infinite light once more when it is at its dimmest. When we feel that we are at endings within needed cycles and feel that our soul has been beat up or torn apart through self-expressions of lessons and energetically in need of divine rebirth. And I found this really interesting considering this is also the year of the snake and it is a 9 year, right? So 9-9. Nines are endings and new beginnings. They are a number of rebirth because of the endings and beginnings energy. All right. It is also the year of the snake, which is also the endings, the re-beginnings, the transformation, the alchemy. So this is a really potent and powerful portal. This is the portal of being reborn. That is why we are doing the retreat in Sedona for the 999 energies. I remember who I am. I remember why I'm here. Right? That is the energy. I am so excited for everybody who's going to be present for that. And yes, we are going to We're going to be there for 9/11 as well. And some say there is no meaning except the tragedy. But those of us who are in the know, those of us who followed this channel for a while know that the dark ones, whatever you want to call them, right? This shadow government, these dark beings that exist beyond this planet, right? But have their little foot soldiers on this planet. They plan all of these events according to the dates. All right, so 9/11 is known in the Ethiopian calendar to be Yeshua's birthday. Yeshua being what many refer to as Jesus Christ, although that is not his real name. That is an inversion of his name used to prevent people from connecting with his true frequency. Yeshua, that is his true name. Why is this not charging? Hold on, guys. I just realized my phone's not charging. That's not going to do very well for us during this live stream. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Give me a second. This is very strange. Yeah, this has never done this before. I don't know why. I don't know if this got broken, maybe. All right, we're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to switch phones at some point because this is not. My charger is not long enough to plug in. Let me see. Let me go see if I have another thing to plug in for a minute, you guys. All right. I've got another extension cord here, so let's see if we can do this. So yeah, it was really funny. Those of you who've been on this part of this tribe for a while, you guys will probably remember when we did the live stream where we were talking about 9/11 and we were trying to figure out why they planned it on that day. And we had no idea why it was. And then literally days later, I stumbled across, I think it was actually one of Rising Phoenix Aurora's Lionsgate portal. I was rewatching it for the information about the 13 keys. And she mentioned in that video that because we're talking about the Ethiopian calendar as far as the keys opening, you guys will have to go. I'll reference a video for you if you want to learn more about that. We're not going to get super deep into that right now. All we need to understand is what we're already laying out right here about the keys. All right. But there's a connection with the Ethiopian calendar as well. And so she mentioned that Yeshua's birthday was 9/11 in the Ethiopian calendar. And it was almost like I'd asked the question, like, why is this important? And then literally days later, my question was answered and I was given the information. And I was like, ooh, that resonates. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this phone is kind of a junker, honestly, to be honest. I'm very grateful for it. It was a gift and I really appreciate that. But it's a used phone that I do these streams on and it doesn't hold charge very well. And now I think that it is honestly just not charging at all. So if that's the case, that's the end of this because like I said, the charger doesn't last, like the battery doesn't last very long anyway. It has to be used, plugged in basically. Let me see if my other phone is charging. That'll tell me what the issue is. Yeah, it is. So it's an issue with that. I'm going to see if I can switch phones. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to do this because I like having access to all the charts and everything on my phone. But I guess we don't have to do it yet. We'll do it when the battery gets too low here. All right. I'm not sure what the question is about the calendars. Who would use what calendar? The Ethiopians use a different calendar. They use a calendar that goes by the moon cycles more, I think is how it's part of how it's figured out. And I believe they start, there's a significance with the day they start their calendar. But there's a connection to Yeshua. I almost wish I hadn't mentioned his name, especially like his false name, which is what most people call him by, right? Because I know that's probably got a lot of bots in the chat now, but it came through, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, wireless charger. I'll try that for this phone because I do have one of those, Stevie. I won't be able to do it during the live streams, but that would help. I have no idea, honestly. Serna, I'm not sure what calendar Al Qaeda uses, honestly. Shit, I shouldn't have said that either. Now we're going to get more bots or more ridiculousness here. That's probably no word. I pronounced it wrong, so maybe that'll help. I don't know anything about what calendar they use. All right. So I don't want to go too deeply into the comments because I feel like it's going to drag us down a bunch of rabbit holes that we don't need to be dragged down right now. But what I will say is that every calendar has its own significance. The Gregorian calendar, for instance, has significance because of the collective belief, because the collective uses that calendar. It makes the dates relevant. All right. Just like some of the power of the 8/8 portal also has to do with the fact that so many people believe in it now. Right? You can ask people about the Syrian gateway. You can ask people about like the 4/4 portal. Most people are going to be like, what? But if you say Lionsgate portal, people know what you're talking about because this is the one that everybody, like, regardless of if you even are like very, like, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Like you barely know anything as far as like what goes on within like the spiritual occult world. Like, you know, you've probably heard the Lionsgate. If you're even on the fringes, there we go, of the spiritual community, then you know about, then you've heard about the Lionsgate. So there's a lot of collective belief behind it as well. Ooh. But yeah, I can't give you all the answers to that. All I know is that I practice Western astrology and somehow it works. Somehow if we look at the energies and what's going on in the world, and like it lines up. All right. So that's all I need to know. And I don't understand the question then. When I say energy, what kind of energy am I talking about? What, give me a specific as to like the reference for that. There's different references to what that means depending on what we're talking about. The Gregorian calendar, there's actually a lot of there's a lot of deep dark energy with everything. There's a reason the Gregorian calendar was established in order to do a lot of it's just another way to get us off of our center, to misalign us energetically by following a false synthetic measurement of time. All right. Look into it if you want to look deeper into that. And you'll find some interesting stuff. I'm talking about the energy that is present all around you. The energy of your thoughts, the energy of your frequency, the energy of your chakras, the energy from the solar flares, the energy from the heart of Mother Gaia, right? The frequencies, everything is sound and frequency, right? The entire cosmos is sound and frequency. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about energy. I'm talking about the frequencies of light that are emitted from these planets when they come together. All right, there's a lot of different ways that I am utilizing the word energy. So one thing that we used to do that I'll throw out there for people, check out the galactic calendar. We used to do a lot of readings on the galactic calendar. It's a 13 moon cycle. So it has 13 moons instead of 12 months. I believe it's 28 days for each. And there's different wave spells and different patterns of energy that weave through the calendar. And it's a really cool way to measure time. I believe it takes some inspiration from the Mayan calendar. There's some other aspects to it. It's really cool. And according to that calendar, July 26th is the Galactic New Year. And so this is more, they call it galactic time. So this is sort of the greater way that time is measured outside of sort of the Earth matrix, the false matrix. Yeah. And if you guys want to know what the false matrix is, those of you who are new here, go ahead and check out the live stream playlist or the Ascension information and guidance playlist. What is the AI inverted matrix and how do we ascend out? That's the name of the video that I did, where you can learn more about and understand what the false matrix is. Oh, and sending some love there. Yeah. If Lady Gaga did pass, you know, she obviously, anyone who has that level of celebrity has been initiated into the cabal, and they are sort of at the beck and call of those dark energies and forces. But at the same time, like, I sensed that there was a beautiful soul in there. You know what I mean? So hopefully she's free now. Hopefully she was able to get out of any of those dark contracts, that her soul was able to sort of rise above that energy, and she has an opportunity to be healed and to go on to another existence. All right, so returning to the 13th key here. We're talking about the rebirthing, right? This energy of rebirthing and this energy of Divine Mother Sophia, her energy when we access her cosmic heart, bringing that healing through to us, right? Then it says, the 13th key portal is found at the center of Earth. That is our mother's infinite crystalline heart that gives all life force within, that requires light and life on Earth. The Earth's gateway, entering into the cosmic gateway of infinite potentials. Infinite potentials, right? 8, the 8 is the number of infinity. So there we go again. Here, the Divine Mother will envelop and embrace us in her infinite unconditional love for her beautiful fractals of creation. And I wanted to stop here too, because I was seeing, as I was reading that, I was seeing the 8, I was seeing the DNA strands. And I was seeing that when we talked about infinite possibilities, it was like this energy of all of the different possibilities and timelines kind of converging in a sense. And I think this is really interesting because I've had conversations with friends over the last couple of days, and alternate timelines or realities have come up quite a few times where we tapped into other dimensions where different decisions had been made and we're essentially living different lives. And what I mean by that, to explain to people who maybe don't fully understand, is every single time that you make a choice or decision, your consciousness remains in the timeline, the reality where you made that choice. But alternate versions of reality branch off of that where you made different choices. And they're all existing simultaneously. And so we have the ability to tap into these different timelines, these different dimensions anytime we will. That's what we talk about, what's happening when we say shift timelines. Every potential already exists. It's simply aligning with it. And so lately I've been having conversations where we were able, myself and a friend or connection of mine, were able to tap into an alternate timeline and feel the energy of that, where a completely different reality existed because of the different choices and decisions that were being made. So there's something here with this 8-8 portal. As everything, timelines are converging, where it's almost like, I don't even know how to describe what I'm feeling right now as far as what this means. It's like they're all coming back. It's the 0 point. Spirit's giving me that energy of the 0 point energy. Right? So it's like they're all converging. They're all coming together. We're integrating the energy of those different timelines. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's interesting. It's kind of like that energy of fate. And what Spirit's saying is, like, if something was meant to be, meaning like part of your soul's desired blueprint or plan, a meaningful connection, a meaningful event that maybe has been put off multiple times because of different choices that were made, if it were truly meant to be a part of this particular trajectory of energy, of this timeline, or whatever timeline you're merging onto, it's like those connections, those experiences are merging into this one. So like an example of this would be like if there were somebody that you were meant to connect with and you had never fully connected with them, but you were meant to, in order for your soul growth, in order for the healing of connecting with this person, but you both made different free will choices and your paths kept diverging instead of coming together. This is going to be the time where those paths converge, where you come back together. Everything that was meant, quote unquote, to be experienced within this version of your consciousness's experience of reality, it's all merging together. It's all coming together right now. So that's really cool. We have free will, but we don't. We have free will, but at the end of the day, there is like our higher self's will and divine will kind of trumps the free will in certain situations, I guess. Or we'll always come back to a point where we continually have the opportunity to merge into the experience that our soul designed. So it's like we'll keep coming back, I think. We'll keep coming back to that point, to that choice point, to that crossroads. And we can keep choosing to go against our higher self's will. We can keep choosing different paths, right? But we'll keep getting brought back to the opportunity to align back with the path that is truly calling our soul, I think. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, right? Fate versus destiny. Free will. We do have the free will to keep avoiding our fate, I guess you could say, or avoiding our destiny, but it's going to keep knocking. But right now, it's like I really see a lot of those timelines merging. And at least, and like we said, and thank you for bringing that up, like we do have free will, okay? So we're going to have these opportunities. You know how I use the example of like a person that we're meant to connect with, that it just never quite happened. And now that energy, that opportunity is coming back around. We still have the free will to be like, nah, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But we're going to sense, we're going to feel that pulling from our soul. You know what I mean? Where it's like, no, but I really want, like, we're going to want to. That's the thing, right? Because there's a connection there. There's a contract or a connection there. You know when there's a soul contract or a deep soul connection with somebody, because your souls are pulled to each other. All right, so let's continue reading here about the 13th key. The 13th key and dimension is where we bridge. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I skip something here? We're going to continue. The 13th key and dimension is where we bridge to the infinite being of source, the divine mother and father, who are the infinity of both 0 point and infinite possibilities of dimensions. The number 13 represents the collective of all the divine mothers, such as Mother Mary, Isis, Nefertiti, Kuan Yin, Kali Ma, representing the infinite power of love. Therefore, it holds the potentials of both endings and new beginnings in creation. It also contains the wholeness of the creators of our universe, which are the 12 seraphim plus 1, the daughter of the flame, equaling 13. This princess or daughter of the flame is the Divine Mother Sophia and Divine Father Christo's first creation and seed of their infinite love. The very first fractal that our infinite flamed source created, which then individualized its consciousness, springing out into the vastness and mysteries of the infinity of the dark void. The first expression of the Divine Mother and her creational abilities through her sacred womb. Just as she created life within the infinite collective source consciousness, so too only her very first fractal, the daughter of the flame, could create outside in the infinity of the cosmos. The reason why she is the phoenix and daughter of the flame is because Source made her in this form and energetic makeup, as the void was infinite, to ensure the protection of their first creation. She had to be made of the infinite etheric flame that would transmute all that was inorganic or that meant harm. Source wanted to ensure that their first creation had their infinite shielding protection and infinite power, so that she would not be swallowed or consumed by what immeasurable darkness could have been out in the infinity of the cosmos. We see these glimpses and seeds of knowledge represented here on earth, as only the divine feminine can carry and birth forth life as the divine mother. Though always needing the seed of the divine masculine, together they create life in the farthest depths and reaches of creation. And this is really important, understanding the daughter of the flame and the eternal etheric source flame that transmutes all darkness. So as we're moving through this energy, as we're moving through this ascension process, this bifurcation, all right, we want to call on our etheric source flame. You want to light that. You can, like, literally, as we're moving through this, with everything that's going on, all the astral planes that are dimension, all that are crumbling, all the entities swimming around everywhere right now, you want to light yourself up like a Christmas tree, essentially. Ignite that source flame. All right, this is the rainbow flame. It contains every color of the rainbow, plus gold, black, silver. Just imagine this flame lighting up your entire being. I imagine that I'm literally like a candle and this flame is engulfing me. All right, I am this flame is a better way to put it. I become that flame. When you ignite your eternal source flame, right, your etheric source flame, which is what you are, right, because you were created by Divine Mother, Divine Father, and by the daughter of the flame, the Phoenix. When you ignite that flame, nothing can touch you. All right? Yes, when we unify with Source, we are everything, right? Because we are Source. However, in the meantime, in these illusions of separations, there are a lot of things that we don't want to claim that we are one with. All right? There's when we reunite, when we fully merge with Source again, we are all right. But in this experience that we're having right now, there's a lot of inorganic entities and energies that we don't want to unify with because that's consenting to allowing them to merge with us. And we do not want to merge with that which is inorganic, that which is artificial, right? That's when we're talking about the bifurcation, the two earths, the two paths. One is organic, one is inorganic, right? One is organic intelligence, divine intelligence. One is artificial intelligence, okay? Let that sink in. Feel into that, what that means. You are divine, you are organic. This portal is a powerful time to choose that, to choose the divine, to choose the organic. Right? So continuing on here. When all the above keys are achieved for individual self-growth, balanced and activated, and this is key, all right? These keys have the seals upon these keys, upon the planet, have completed their activation, their opening. That doesn't mean that we're all aligned and we're all experiencing that. We experience the level of reality that we choose, that we vibrate up of the frequency of. You guys know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So yes, these energies are fully available to us. The earth is fully activated in them. At least one version of the earth, right? And we can align with that, but it's our job to activate these keys within us, to activate these chakras, these DNA strands within us. But Divine Mother just gave us the shortcut. All right. With this 13th key activating the cosmic heart of Mother Earth. Just go into your heart. That was always the shortcut anyway, but it's going to be that much more powerful now. Go into your heart. It is the portal to the 5th dimension. Go inside. I'm about to read that in somebody else's words too, which I effing love. All right. Because we've been saying this from day one here. All right. Go into your heart. That will activate everything. So it says, when all the above keys are achieved for individual self-growth, balanced and activated, you are able to connect to the infinite love light of the grand central heart of the cosmic and earth gateway. But what we sometimes call on here as the cosmic heart, right? We talk about the cosmic mind and the cosmic heart. The 13th key, the inactive 13th DNA strand within us. We don't realize that we are working within this 13th key all day long, back and forth. When we reach and feel the deepest love for all around us, even those who may have caused harm unto us or others. When you are able to find infinite love within the darkest people and places. In remembering that love is the very fabric that gives life force to this most beautiful universe. Love is what gives us the spark of creation. And love is the only bridge out of this third dimension. Inverted AI matrix simulation, going inwards through our infinite love frequency portal of our hearts. Brings a whole new meaning to that phrase, the only way out is through. Go within or go without. It's all happening right here. All right. Now I'm going to see if I can switch to my, oh, thank you. You're beautiful too. See if I can switch to the live stream on this phone. Is it not going to let me do it? Because that phone's about to die. Let's see. Hold on. What if I do? All right. I'm going to end the live stream on that, and then we're going to pop over and we're going to have some chats on the other one. All right. So everyone just wait a second, and then you'll be able to hop onto the new live stream. All right. Love you so